Alrighty, folks. I don't know if you know this, but the real estate market is ever changing. We have some locales that are clearly buyers markets. Yes, buyers markets, not sellers markets. And unfortunately, if you happen to be a seller in one of these markets and you don't know it is a buyer's market, you are very likely going to be tied to what I call wish pricing. Now, in fairness, this is not most of the country, but there are a couple of locales that maybe they had some short-term rental changes or Airbnb or whatever, and it is suddenly flipped to a buyer's market. And if you are a seller and you need to sell, you need to realize that wish pricing needs to change. Adrian, what do you think of all that?
So good. We're on the front lines, guys. We are direct to seller business. We get, I don't 7, 8 calls a day from sellers that are calling into our services asking to buy their house. And I would say about 60% of them are all wishful pricing, especially like Zuber just said, and now makes total sense, especially those Airbnb markets, especially those markets that you would never, they're so caught up on what happened in the Airbnb bubble that they're thinking they're still going to get that price. They're thinking that someone's going to come in and rent it out for, or Airbnb it for what they were getting, and they are drastically wrong.
Yeah, there are a couple of markets in Southern California, maybe even Arizona, really Southern California, given some changes in laws, like Palm Springs. I can think of Palm Springs. I read a
Yep.
article about a building in Palm Springs that sold for 1.1 million in like 2020, might have been early 2021, that just foreclosed and resold at 600. The laws changed,
Oh,
the rules changed,
wow.
and that's now a new comp, right? So there's a lot of people that bought thinking of Airbnb riches. The city or locale changed. Now you're host. You only had one strategy that worked. That strategy no longer works, and pain, pain, pain. So if you are in that market and you need to sell, don't have wish pricing.
And we talked about, it's funny, we talked about this on your channel about a year and a half ago on
Mhm.
if you can't rent your Airbnb out, if you can't rent that property out and get a normal market value and
Month
still
to
make
month.
money,
Yep.
sell
Don't
that
do it.
property. Don't buy it.
Yeah. We yeah,
Doesn't
we
make any
told people to
sense.
sell. Yeah, we told people to sell.
We did. I know I sold mine. I listened to what we were
Yep.
saying and I sold mine. And sure enough, guys, city cracked down. We had properties in Lake Havasu and Big Bear. Both of them cracked down on the amount of not just renewal. So let's just say that you had a permit to Airbnb your property for a short-term vacation rental. They limited on how many were able to get vouchers. And then whoever had them, you couldn't just go renew. You had to go reapply because they were very specific on who they allowed in there, right? I was having a talk with 2 sellers, one in Big Bear. It's crazy. These were both yesterday. One in Big Bear, who is listed on the market for $600,000. The house is maybe 900 square feet.
Oh,
Comps in the area are 400, 380 to 425. He's thinking he's still going to get that price. He is adamant. And we're having a conversation yesterday, and I'm like, help me understand, where is this value coming from? Well, it's an Airbnb market. I'm walking distance from the village. You don't know what this property has. I mean, it's going to Airbnb all day long. Whoever buys it's going to cash flow immediately. And I go, but how do you expect them to get a voucher for a short-term rental? There's no more vouchers. Airbnb's done in Big Bear. They're only allowing X amount of vouchers, and then those that have vouchers can't renew. Most of them can't renew. So I'm just curious.
yeah.
But he's so stuck on that. So stuck on that. He had an offer like 35. I think it was, what did he tell me? 40K under. I said, call them back right now and take that offer.
Yeah.
Take it
Exactly.
right now. Give you a prime example number 2, and I'm actually going to pull this up. It's a property in Joshua Tree. Both
Yeah.
Airbnb market, guys.
Exactly.
Both Airbnb markets. This lady, 1550 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 5 acres. It's a
Oh,
beautiful house,
yeah.
right?
Beautiful.
Needs work, up against the rocks, beautiful, nice little area. Okay. Comps in the area. The most recent comp sold for 900, but the guy did a $300,000 remodel to the house, Uber.
Okay.
When I mean it is it on a whole nother tier, brother. Like
Right.
the
Dialed.
architectural design, the way it was built, the pool, the spa, it has a cold plunge. I mean, they went all out on this house, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Similar square footage, similar bedroom bath. So I call her And I go, what do you want for the property? She says, $2 million.
With a straight face.
I said, how much work does it need? Well, it's in livable condition, but the kitchen's original, bathroom's original. I got carpet all throughout the house. And I'm like, so we still need to remodel the house. And help me understand why you feel your home is worth 200,000.
2 million.
Right by to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Yeah, it's again, I've been in real estate a long time, 20 some odd years. And we could talk national numbers, we could talk all of this stuff, and it's still very much a seller's market nationally, even at state levels. But real estate is local, and I would argue hyper local.
Yep.
And if you happen to be living in or a seller in a market that had some event change, like permits, like reduction in permits, like reduction in renewals, and you're not privy to that, you don't realize that you just lost half the value.
Yep.
Because an investor may come there and they're going to run the numbers on a month, a year lease. And that's not Airbnb rates. So this lady who wanted 2 million or the guy that wanted 600, that one of two things are going to happen. If they own it free and clear, they're just going to live in the house until they figure it out, which may be years from now. Or two, if they are someone that bought in 2020 or 2021, which it doesn't sound like these people did, it sounds like they've owned them for a while. But if they were one of those Airbnb folks that ran in and the tide went out, they're going to lose them to foreclosure.
Yep.
It's just going to happen. There's no equity.
Nope. And we're seeing it time after time after time again. Don't get me wrong. Some people have been hit with reality, but there's a good portion out there that choose not to. And let's even look outside of the Airbnb market. Let's look at some, like the suburbs, right? Let's look at Inland Empire. Right. We were talking to one person and they believe that they can still get what the market was 2 years ago without having to remodel their property. So I always ask, well, how much money do you plan on putting into your property to make it look like your neighbors? Well, Zuber, I don't want to put any money into my home. And yet you want
the same
above
price.
Market value?
Yeah. Yeah. As the markets change, as they evolve, it's people they have this it's called anchoring, right? They anchor on something, and that anchoring doesn't have to be reality.
So
Right?
good.
It's
so
just,
good.
it's one of the hardest jobs as a listing agent is understanding the anchoring.
Yeah.
And anchoring eventually gets undone either by time or by some event. So it's interesting.
And agents and wholesalers and flippers, you guys, it is your job to educate the seller on why it's not. Like, I'm sending out market data. So like the first thing I did with that Joshua Tree lady, I sent her all the market data on Joshua Tree. And I said, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be impossible for us to buy your house unless you come down at least $400,000. Like, it's not going to happen. You're out of your mind. You're crazy, right? I'm sorry, 1.4 million. Unless you come down 1.4 million, it's not going to happen. You're out of your mind. Okay, no worries. Hey, I'm going to send you market data and you do what you want with it, right? So it's just a quick little package on everything that is sold, price per square foot, and that way she can see. We'll follow back up with her if she comes down to reality. Great, but the likelihood of her taking a $1.4 million in her mind loss from what she was at,
she'll just stay there. She'll just stay there.
Just stay there. And here's the bad thing: she really needs to sell. She actually has like an actual. There's a family issue where she needs to get somewhere, but yet you can't. What did my Mike Ferry say? He goes, you can't uplift the downtrodden, right? It doesn't matter what they think, right? There's just some people that are going to be stuck in the way that they are. But however, educate them, give them the market information that they need, and then let them make their own decision. 90% of the time, they're going to make the wrong one.
Yep. Folks, at the end of the day, we do not have a national housing market. We don't even have state or local. It's very much a hyper thing. So again, if you have a buy box and you happen to be shopping in one of these markets like Lake Havasu or Big Bear or Joshua Tree, please write disrespectful offers. Don't get got. Don't catch a falling knife. There are markets that are quickly growing in inventory, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. So be careful out there. Adrian, where can people find you?
Instagram, guys, at Adrian Hernandez. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you, Zuber.
Thank you, buddy.